Hello, this is the new Lundi 20 from Moustache. This is their family cargo bike, and I've just been colouring it in. This is one of the features that you can do on the bike, and I'm super excited about it. It's absolutely awesome. It's definitely the best looking out of all of the long tail cargo bikes that I've come across. And today I'm here actually in France, down the road from the factory, and then we're going to run through in detail the upgrades, the differences, and what makes this bike so spectacular. So come with me, let's go and find him. And here we are, and here is Duncan. Duncan, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
So the Lundi 20 first came out about 3 years ago?
Yeah, it's about 3 years from now, yes.
Yeah. So Moustache were slightly later to the game than some of the others with their cargo bike. They spent a lot of time, I remember, in the R&D phase with it to get it perfect.
Yeah.
And you know, it's been quite successful, but it came in black only. It was, you know, it didn't really have a proper step through, so it had the second bar in there.
Yeah.
There was a couple of minor things. It didn't have a front lock. The seat didn't have as much travel and variance inside. The stand was good, but people didn't really feel safe putting their kids on it and leaving them on it outside the shop, for example. So there was a few things that kind of held it back and allowed other brands to really fast track and gain market share. But yeah, it's back.
It's back.
It's
with
really
a vengeance.
Cool. Yeah, you've done a fantastic job. So congratulations. So tell us, what are the main new features about it?
Well, you've explained it well. We took the feedback from you guys, from our other customers, and the main features we changed. Obviously, we now have a big step through frame, so we don't have the top tube. We've optimized the tubing so that we still have the same rigidity as the old version. At the front, we've added a suspension fork.
Yeah, big one.
Basically, it was a choice that we waited for a suspension fork that was on the market that passed all the standards, the cargo standards. We've also included the lock, like you said, which blocks the front wheel, which has a compatibility with chain. We've upgraded the front rack to be delivered with the bike.
Okay, can I just emphasize how important this is? Yeah, it's so important. When you've got a couple of kids and you're doing the nursery drop, you know, trying to find somewhere to lock it to or whatever, this is just like, ka-ching, boom, and it's just done. It's such a vital piece of equipment, and it's actually really secure because obviously the bikes are fairly heavy, you know, it's quite difficult to lift one of these. You know, I mean, I'm incredibly strong, so I'm very blessed and lucky. But no, I mean, this is a great piece of kit, so that's really important.
Yeah. What else did we do? Well, we updated obviously the Bosch, so now we have the new Bosch Gen 4.
Smart system,
which obviously gives us the compatibility with the smartphone holder, with the Purion 200 controller.
This charges your phone while you're riding, and you can also track and lock the bike, and you can get over-the-air updates, and there are loads of features that are coming out, apps and things to pair it to your Apple Watch, whatever it is. Now it is completely future-proof.
Still with the cargo line level of motors, so we have that assistance of 400%, which really helps when you've got a fully laden bike, especially with a wriggly load at the back. You still have that stability with the assistance. We've updated the color, so now we have a neutral color with reflective graphics at both sides.
Yeah. Is this slightly different, the taper here as well?
So the taper, we've basically changed the head angle slightly on the geometry to give a bit more maneuverability. So when you're riding at slower speeds, when you're starting off, you still have the assistance with the Bosch, but you also have a geometry which is a bit better for slower speeds. Keeps the bike stable until you get your rhythm going.
I mean, I'm a huge fan of these handlebars, and you can really be any size to ride them. This is how Moustache became famous, effectively, with their Moustache bars. And this was on their original Lundy, which was the first bike I ever bought first electric bike I ever bought back in 2013 when Bosch first started out. And these bars are iconic, and yeah, I mean, they are really good. So having adjustability, you don't need it with this clever design because you're just kind of going forwards and backwards. So it really fits all types of rider.
Exactly, it's designed to be a bike which uses relatively small distances, a stop and go bike. It's designed to be sat on, to have a posture where You're straight, you have 108 degrees visibility, you have a nice, comfortable, natural position on the bike. So we keep the same style of handlebar as we had on the last one.
Yeah, and also they integrate the cabling,
Yeah.
so it's really tidy. Whereas a lot of the other manufacturers have got cables hanging out.
Exactly. Yeah.
If you turn the bars or try and put it in an estate car or something, which quite a few of our customers do, it's vulnerable for kind of tugging and pulling the cables.
It also
out.
helps when you're putting load in the front basket. There we go. That
Comes
you
in many
don't
colours
have any
as well.
cable tangling when you're either clipping or when you're putting your groceries, etc., in the front.
See, this setup would be for 9 months to about 3 years on the back here, and say 3 years or 2.5 till about 7 or so. As your kids grow, you can effectively remove both of these and then have just like a kind of really nice bench, and so they can fit as they grow. And then if you wanted to, I don't know where you saw your bike, but then you could, if you just wanted to do the shopping, you could effectively just click these in. They click out and click in very easily. I'm going to try and do it quickly just to show you how easy it is. Push that in like that, push that out like that, and then that's it. And then it's so simple that you'd literally just click that one in like that, and then it's done. There's also that great pannier. That was something I noticed in your presentation earlier.
Yeah.
That's super cool, the way it splits in two, particularly if you've got a baby seat on the back. Whereas before, a lot of the competitive products, they have to have their feet inside the panniers, which is actually not that practical.
Yeah, so either if you have the baby seat at the back or the front, we suggest to have the baby seat at the front just because you have the load further towards the middle of the bike. You can have this pannier which fits in place here, and you can still have access to the back, so you can open the flap, close the flap.
Okay, so do you want to summarise what you did earlier in the talk, because it was really interesting the way you did it?
Yep. So we're designing the cargo bikes, and we basically think about the 5 main actions we use when riding these kind of bikes. So at the start, at a standstill, what do we need the bike for? To put the children in, to stand off the bike, we need to have stability. What else do we need? We need to have a low standover height.
And very importantly, the new stand.
And very importantly, the new stand.
So we haven't actually talked about that yet. It's a really nice
point.
new feature with a pedal, yeah?
Yeah. So basically the new stand works on a block system, so it's locked in place. If you want to put it into place, you simply push the pedal at the front and then simply push it back a bit and then it'll click in place. Our old bike, you had to fully put the stand out, you had to really move to the rear of the bike, and now all you have to do is push this pedal down and then it clicks in place.
It's very cool actually how it's been designed. But effectively I could like stand on the bike like, woo, I'm free. Yeah, so it's got a lock on it as well, yeah?
It's got a lock on it to keep it in place. And also just to take it off, you push the lock and then that's your stand. You can load, unload your kids, etc.
Great.
So the next one, starting to ride, what do we need? We need a bike that's stable, a bike that's comfortable. We've kept the telescopic seat posts.
Yeah, it's really cool. So
up and down.
And that's actually now got much more.
It now goes all the way down,
Yeah.
yeah. You can also put the seat post all the way down as well. So
And
it gives...
you've used a shim to prevent any cable issues from.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah,
so
exactly.
That's a big improvement as well. So there's just loads of improvements. I'm loving it.
Yeah, we still got the posture like I was talking about before with the handlebars.
Yeah.
The assistance we talked about already. We have the new generation Bosch system.
That can get you up basically the steepest of any hill you can possibly imagine with 2 kids on it. There's not one hill in London this could not go up with 2 large kids on the back.
Speed's an issue that we really took some time to try and understand, especially when the motor in Europe cuts at 25 kilometers an hour. But if you're going down a hill, you can quickly come up to 50, 60 kilometers an hour.
100.
100 if you want, with a substantial amount of weight on your bike. So that's why we want the rider to be comfortable. That's why we add the suspension fork. We have this frame that's super rigid. Here's just an example of the tubing we use. So it's basically got walls, interior walls, to keep our frame super rigid, to keep the handling super stable. So this is a really important factor for the cargo bike market.
I think this is a big thing actually that again puts it above the competition because you found a very clever place to house the battery and it can be up to 800 now as well, which is a massive amount of range. I mean, just for context, that's about 50 to 100 miles from one charge. No one needs to do more than that. But a lot of the other manufacturers have gone for different types of frame with batteries inside it and what have you. That is the ultimate in rigidity. Yeah.
And then we don't have to have an opening in the front, so we can keep this rigid frame, one tube with interior walls to keep the bike really stable.
Yeah. So yeah, and going back to what we were saying before about that tapered kind of headset and head tube, I think, you know, when I've ridden it, not that much yet, we're going to ride it a little bit more in a minute, but at speed, you're never going to get a wobble or anything
speed
like
wobble,
that.
yeah, that's one of the things we don't want, especially with your two precious kids at the back. So yeah, it's slightly more open, the head angles, so you have this like really stable ride. It really helps to keep the bike safe.
Yeah. I mean, it's when you've got precious cargo, it's all about safety, but it's nice to have a little bit of style while you're doing it.
For sure, yeah.
I think these bikes are becoming very, very fashionable these days because there's now a lot of them on the road that people really want to kind of, you know, have something that they really love and spend, you know, like, yeah, I just think it's awesome. So yeah, then we've got security. So we've been through that. So you've obviously got a cafe lock on the front, and you can put your tracker in the bike. That doesn't come as standard though. The Bosch Connect model.
It's an option. We know that it's not for everybody. It depends on where you live, the security you want, the level of security you want. So it's really simple to install.
We installed it as the dealer. We charge £100 for it, and it's a great add-on if you are in a kind of high risk area like London, for example.
Yeah.
But then we would always advise you go for a diamond rated lock, so something like a Hiplock DX1000 or an Abus Granite Super Extreme. These are anti-angle grinder locks, and then if you are parking it outside your house, which is very popular, say in your side return or in your front garden or whatever it is, you can install a ground anchor. Very, very easy to do, and then you just attach it, and that's insurance approved. And then final stage, what people do is they just get one of the stretchy tarps just to go over it, just to protect it and keep it out of sight as well. Yeah, very easy to do. So another great feature is even when you've got the two seats in, even two baby seats, this bike can still stand on its back. So let's do that. Hold the rear brake.
Up it goes.
Oh, yeah, all good. All good. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
But that is pretty safe. I mean, no little kid is pushing that over. And you can have that, you know, in your hallway or wherever it needs to go in your garage to save on space. And the competitor of this bike, which is very well known, cannot do that with a child seat in the back. Obviously, this is the version with the chain, which is the 20.3.
Yep.
Yeah, but the 20.5 will come with a belt and the MVOLO.
Exactly.
So this fantastic little spring here as well keeps it looking sharp. And also, it doesn't allow you to overturn.
Exactly, yeah.
Which is a really nice feature.
When it's vertical or when it's horizontal, it just gives it that extra bit of stability.
So thanks very much, Duncan. Let's take this bike out and see what it looks like in its natural habitat, and let's get it outside and ride it. So we're here at the wonderful Moustache factory now, and I'm going to take this bike for a nice ride and just see how it feels. I mean, I have already ridden it briefly, but I'm just going to show you in action. So come with me. It's so easy and confidence building. It's really comfortable. It's just so balanced. It can handle light off-road, especially with this new suspension fork. So when can you get one? How do you pay for it? What's the deal? At Fully Charged, we've been working with Moustache for 10 years. We are their #1 partner, and we're very proud to be their biggest and best dealer in the UK. You can pay for them in many different ways. Cycle to work scheme is very popular. You can get 0% finance. We have 5 stores currently. We've got our main store in London Bridge, right in the centre of London. Then we've got Silverstone, New Forest, Cornwall and Guildford, and soon to be more. We consider price matching as well. I think servicing is a really important part. You know, you can't really take one of these to your local bike shop and get it properly serviced. It's carrying around precious cargo, and you need to make sure it's serviced by someone that has the correct facilities, the correct ramps and the correct parts. And we've got all of that going on, and we love what we do, and we'd love to share our knowledge and this wonderful brand with you. So don't be afraid to get in touch and come and see what all the fuss is about. See you later. Thanks so much for watching.